So they do these very simple things where they stay connected as much as possible, and they try and replace criticisms with praise. What I mean by that is, there might be a million things. Your husband is going to annoy you in a million ways.
Yep.
But if you focus on the things that you like about them and the things that you don't like about them, you attribute it to perhaps stress or perhaps their childhood, or you make external explanations.
Amazing. And I like the you know how you're talking about the praise versus the criticism. I think also when you criticize, I feel like it's important to say, like, for example, you were being selfish in that moment.
Yeah.
Not saying to someone, you are selfish.
Yeah, you don't make a
Period.
generalized statement.
Yeah.
And more so than anything, you turn your criticism into an instruction. If you say you're being like, let's say, for example, they don't clean up after themselves. Instead of saying you're so selfish and lazy, you can say, I would really appreciate if you just clean up after yourself. I've only got 2 hands. You turn every criticism, because there's an instruction. There's a need behind every criticism. Explain the criticism and they have something to work with. They might ignore it.
Yeah.
But at least you've given them the instruction, and then you can measure whether or not they're trying to connect with you.
Yeah.
But if you don't give them the instruction and just give them terrible labels, they've got nothing to work with. Yeah.
That's true. Well, at least you give them a solution.
Give us,
and then you measure it later.
So when finances are weaker, they see it as at the end of the world, the end of the relationship. Other people grew up with parents that were okay with, like, whatever you want to spend. So they never saw it as a selfish act to overspend.